Είναι η νοσταλγή του εθνικισμού και του λαϊκισμού. Είναι το 32% των ψηφοφόρων στις εθνικές εκλογές του τελευταίου χρόνου ανά την Ευρώπη που ψήφισε υπέρ αντικαθεστωτικών κομμάτων, κομμάτων λαϊκισμού, κομμάτων από τα δύο άκρα του πολιτικού φάσματος. Αυτό προκύπτει από το Populist, έρευνα στην οποία συμμετέχουν πάνω από 100 πολιτικοί επιστήμονες και τα συμπεράσματα της ανάλυσης δημοσιεύονται αποκλειστικά από τον Guardian.
In a collaboration together with the Guardian, the newspaper, because they wanted to know, how populism was doing in Europe, basically. And they approached us and we got in touch with several researchers and we decided to set up a team to basically classify parties across Europe as far left, far right and or populist. Recently, we have come with an update of this list.
Ως παραδείγματα αντιφιλελεύθερων ακροδεξιών κομμάτων που κυβερνούν ή συγκυβερνούν στην Ευρώπη, αναφέρονται το κόμμα του Ούγγρου Πρωθυπουργού Βίκτορ Ορμπάν, το Πολωνικό κόμμα Νόμου και Δικαιοσύνης, το κόμμα Αδέλφια της Ιταλίας της Τζόρτζια Μελόνι, οι Σουηδοί Δημοκράτες και το κόμμα των Φιλανδών.
I think the first reason, a very important reason, is increasing volatility. So voters have actually started to vote, to switch between parties. And they have discovered that there are other parties that they can vote for. And because many of these voters are fed up with the political mainstream, they want something new. The media, the increasing influence of social media when it comes to European policies regarding immigration, but of course also what happens at the national level. But even more importantly, it depends on the extent to which media and politicians debate this issue. When the topic of immigration or refugees or cultural topics in general about immigration, when they are salient in the news, that is good news for far-right parties.
Στο μεταξύ, τα δύο γερμανικά κρατήδια, η Βαβαρία και η Έσι, έστειλαν ηχηρά μηνύματα υπέρ των ακροδεξιών κομμάτων. Οι νίκες των κομμάτων της Χριστιανικής Ένωσης, η ενίσχυση του AfD, το οποίο κέρδισε και τη δεύτερη θέση, και ο αποκλεισμός των φιλελεύθερων από το Κοινοβούλιο της Βαβαρίας είναι τα βασικά χαρακτηριστικά του εκλογικού αποτελέσματος.
Germany has for a long time been an exception to the rule that radical right parties are successful in Europe, together with, for instance, Spain and with Portugal. But also for these countries, the times are changing, and you see that by now in Germany, support for the alternative for Germany is increasing rapidly, and it is one of the more successful parties right now in that country. But for Germany, that's relatively new. That can be when there is a recession, but you also see it happening very often when the economy is performing well. And the reason then is that when it is going well economically, there is the media and politicians devote a lot of attention to cultural issues, to immigration as well. And that also leads to more success for these parties.
Σύμφωνα με τη μελέτη, υπάρχουν 234 αντικαθεστωτικά κόμματα στην Ευρώπη. 61 χαρακτηρίζονται ακροαριστερά κόμματα και 212 ακροδεξιά. Ορισμένα από αυτά υπάγονται στην κατηγορία των λαϊκιστικών κομμάτων που αριθμεί 165 πολιτικούς σχηματισμούς. Βέβαια, τα κριτήρια για την κατηγοριοποίησή τους διαφέρουν ανάλογα με την ιδιαίτερη πολιτική ιστορία της κάθε χώρας.
We have decided to classify parties as far left in many cases. One party in a certain country is considered not so radical or very radical, but compared to similar parties in other countries, they are pretty radical. But of course, we came across many borderline cases, and one of the examples is Syriza. One other example is the Dutch Socialist Party in the Netherlands.
Η ακροδεξιά ανεβαίνει και ενδυναμώνεται, αλλά επίσης πολλαπλασιάζεται και διασπάται.
That is something that was also really striking for us. For instance, when it comes to Russia, you see that there are many different ideas among far-right parties about how to think about issues concerning the war in Ukraine, for instance. But also when it comes to issues like gender, or when it comes to climate change, or when it comes to during the pandemic. At first there were only very few issues except for immigration and politics where these parties were talking about, and now that's really increasing. The number of issues they talk about is increasing, but also the differences in opinion about these issues.
This phenomenon is not going to be reduced, but what is your projection?
It's difficult because they have been growing since in the last 25 years. We know that there is this group of voters that is susceptible to the far-right message. But there are also indications that this group will not grow much further. The growth of these parties will become less steep than we have seen in the last couple of years.